Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're continuing on the path of vengeance by revisiting MGM Detroit, where I punted off the entire buy the past winter. How I do today? Let's find out. I walked from the hotel to MGM Detroit, the first property I played at that's not close to home. I take the familiar, yet foreign path through the casino. As I approached the poker room, memories of a time when I was less skilled at poker came flooding back. Feeling a bit more at ease now with my previous Motor City victory, I buy into the 2-5 table for the maximum amount, 1K. I set up my phone for recording immediately, and results-oriented, that was a genius idea, as the very first hand of the session after I sat down, I get involved. I pick up 7 so UTG plus 1, and open to 20. Hijack calls, and the cutoff, who seems like a regular, squeezes to 85. I could definitely fold here, like the machine young kids called GTO will suggest. But given we're all pretty deep, I called to semi and to quote-unquote play poker. Hijack calls behind. Flop came King-Queen-7 with 2 spades, we immediately drew a very hidden set, the third nuts on the board. I check, hijack checks, and cut off things for a bit, as if he's debating between a bet and a check, and decides to check back. We're 3 ways to the turn. Turn came a safe blank, as was an offsuit 6. I bet out for 130 for value. In multi-way 3-bet pots, I think in theory, I should be betting small. However, in retrospect, exploitatively I can definitely go slightly larger, since all hands that'll call a small bet, such as top pair or a draw, will probably also call a bigger bet on this board. Hijack thinks for a bit and calls, and cutoff shakes his head and folds. River was another 6. Despite it giving us a bolt, it's effectively a blank, as we still win and lose against the same hands, except the one combo of 6s, which probably will raise the turn anyway. I fire big for 400 for a maximum value against 1 pair holdings, or 2 pair holdings as the OMCs call them. The hijack's not happy. He tells the table, eventually calls, showing ace-king of hearts. Table asks if we have the same hand, and show the opponent there's no such luck. He tells me nice hand, and I'm immediately up over 600 the very first hand into the session. After the hand, Cutoff told the table that he had ace-queen suited. Hijack really did play it passively, huh? If he didn't, and 3-bet, I would face a cold 4-bet and had to fold. Playing ace-king suited like an OMC cost the hijack player a lot of money, and I have absolutely zero problems with that. Let's hope the run good can continue. However, we had to pay back over realizing our EV by missing flops for the next 50 minutes. Finally, we get rewarded for our patience. In this hand, it folds me on the cutoff when I look down at the Rockets. I open to 20 and get a small blind to call. The flop was ace-6 with 2 diamonds, giving us the absolute nuts. He checks to me. I think small blind's range could contain a lot of Broadway cards or suited cards, most of which have missed. Betting now is probably GTO, and can certainly charge flush draws, but I don't see a lot of other combos he has that could call, since I've accounted for most of the aces in the deck. For that reason, I decided to check back to let the opponent improve. Turn came an offsuit jack, pretty amazing for me, as it's possible that the opponent hit this card. Even more so as the opponent bets out for 25. I contemplate between a call and a raise. It could be the case that the opponent is barreling with very little equity after I check back the flop, and the flat will keep all of his bluffs in. Both options seem reasonable. In the moment, I cut out 3 green chips, but decided to just flat at the last moment before I picked them up from my stack. Shoot. I hope the opponent didn't notice the tell and realize I'm trapping. River was more inconsequential than the opponent's feelings, as it came in offsuit 3. Thankfully, the opponent bets out for 65. Sitting here with the absolute nuts, I have to raise, making 205 to target any hand he's spending for value. Sadly, after some thought, the opponent folds. Good fold, sir, and actually a good fold for you this time. We continue playing pocket pairs as we make another somewhat marginal open with 5s and +2 to 20. Of course, we get 3 callers on hijack, cutoff, and button. At least this gives me great odds to semi, right? The flop came 10-4-3 with 2 spades and have the 5 of spades. Checks the cutoff, and he bets out small for 20. The regular, who 3-bet me earlier, flats on the button, and it's back to me. Obviously, calling here is absolutely maniacal. However, with a backdoor straight and flush opportunities, I get to barrel a lot of potential runouts that's going to be scary for a 10. Additionally, I do have value hands such as overpairs and some sets I'll play the same way. I decide to check raise to 100, praying for folds. Hijack is a nice person and he lets his cards go, but the regular on the button double flats. Shoot. Memories of times when check raise bluffed and punted off my entire stack came flooding back to me. I tell myself to proceed extremely cautiously. Turn was a 7, giving me a gutter. However, this card doesn't really improve a lot of hands in my perceived range, and it doesn't give me that much equity against the main hands such as top pair. I check with intentions to fold to any non-trivial bet. Luckily, button checks back. River's an offsuit king. Now that's an amazing card for me to barrel. If I check raise king x of spades on the flop, I definitely bet big here for value targeting 10x, which is a large portion of his range. I go for the home run, I bet out 200. Luckily for me, the regular almost snap folds. We get this one through, though it's entirely possible that we had the best hand. A somewhat OMC-ish guy now moves to my right, and get immediately involved with him by 3-betting him to open with ace-6 suited and getting a fold. Only a few hands later, the OMC opens again to 20 on the hijack, while look down on the cutoff at ace-queen off. I could go either way here with a call or a raise, and in the moment, I went with a 3-bet to 65.
70 now.
Whoops, I accidentally made a 5 too big. Folds around to the OMC, and he snap 4 bets too.
195.
Shoot. The me 7 months ago will probably think this hand is too pretty to fold. However, I know better now. My beauty standard has changed from being attracted to cards who are high to valuing studentness and connection more. Additionally, this guy just has aces, kings, queens, or ace king. I pretty quickly lay it down. Little did I know, he's going to be the star of the show today. If unpaired cards didn't work out for me, let's go back to the big pair store instead. Exactly 1 orbit later, the OMC to my right opens once again on a hijack to 20, when I look down at queens next to act. I 3-bet again, slicing to 70 for consistency. Folds around to this guy. If he 4-bets, I'm definitely calling as he could be doing this live after facing 3 3-bets from me in a short period. However, he just calls. We go to a flop. Flop came Jack 10-6 with a flush draw, so we have an overpair. He checks, and GTO, this is a mix between bet and check. In the moment, I decide to play it tricky and make it seem like I was just pulling a move pre-flop. I check back. Turn came an offsuit deuce. He checks for a second time. No more slow playing, and a bet 95. He makes the call rather quickly. River was an offsuit ace, so not amazing for me. Still, the opponent could decide to not believe me and choose to go for some thin value per betting 150. The opponent's in the tank. However, he eventually folds. It's sad that we couldn't extract more value from him, but we still take down a nice pot. We're card dead for 1 orbit before the same OMC limps, once again on the hijack, where you look down at king 10 of hearts on the cutoff. I raise home over him once again to 25, and button calls. Another OMC on the small blind now raises to 125, leaving himself with 350 behind. It folds back around to me. GTO wise, I can definitely call my hand since it plays well in position. However, the opponent is short, plus 3-bets from OMCs are generally pretty strong. In the moment, I decide to gamble and call. Button wisely makes way for the 3-bet clash. The flop came queen 6 with no hearts, so that's a disaster. Can we even bluff up ace king here? However, it won't come down to that decision, as the opponent insta shoves. I couldn't toss my cards away any faster, as if they're infected by COVID. After I folded, the OC proudly turns over his cards. Red aces. Congratulations, sir. Your overbet denied a grand total of 2.12% equity. 20 minutes later, the time for a showdown between the OMC to my right and I has come. The same OMC opens to +2 to 20, and look down, second time today at pocket aces. I make it 70 to go, marking this the 4th time I 3-bet him in an hour. The rest of the table senses something brewing, and as they all wisely fold. The OMC, probably quite upset at this constant aggression, calls. We flop the absolute nuts once again as it came ace 10-5 with the ace and 10 of diamonds. He checks to me, and decides to bet as he probably won't believe me. I throw out 55. To my great delight, the opponent almost snap raises me to 150. There's no sweeter feeling than holding the nuts and getting check raised. No point at all to re-raise, since that'll just fold out bluffs. Turn bank 2 of diamonds, an absolute disaster. Every flush draw that gets there. The opponent isn't deterred, he continues for 275 total. I feel quite uneasy, but I'm getting the correct implied odds to draw to bolt against the main flush. I pause for a bit and call. On the count of 3, please like and sub for the dealer to put out a board pairing card, since a lot of money, as well as my confidence, is riding on this. 1, 2, 3. River came, but it was more disappointing than my ex. It was an offsuit 9. Immediately, I hear the 2 words that make my stomach sink. This spot is fucked up. I let the dealer count up its stack, and it was 570 total. All eyes on the table, including the dealers, are now on me, except the opponents, who is currently stoically staring at the board. I try my best to think. What hands do this line represent for value? A flush, obviously, and then lose to a flush. And this line is so underbluffed. I try to gain some more info from the opponent.
We show if I fold. The flush. You have a set. Set of 9s. Two pair. Man, really feel like you got a flush. You won't show if I fold? No?
However, he continues staring at the board, not saying a single word. Could he be nervous that I'm about to catch his bluff? Thoughts about overall P&L are now creeping into my mind. If I fold here, I can still comfortably luck out a small win. If I call and lose, I'll be negative overall on this Detroit trip. How will that affect my mindset? Stop, I tell myself. Just don't think about anything other than the hand itself. I calculate my pot odds, and I only need about 28% to call. Meaning if I can be right 1 in 3.67 times, I can call. I look at the board again. The ace and 10 are both diamonds, so that's good for me, since that cuts down significantly on the combo of flushes the opponent could have. I think its flush value range will only contain king queen, king jack, queen jack, 9 8, 8 7, 7 6 of diamonds. He might not even have the smallest suited connectors, since he does have a limping range. If he has about 6 combos of hands I lose to, are there at least 2 combos of hands I win against? Well, if he thinks I just have top pair and are doing this for value with 10s. That alone is 3 combos already. Plus, could he be fed up with me attacking him relentlessly and then just pulling a move? I'm now more than 4 minutes in the tank, and clock was called on me.
Okay, I'll give you till 15:30.
15 seconds left. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, fuck it. I threw in chip to call.
You got it.
Time seems to have slowed as I look nervously at the opponent, trying to discern any facial expression. He doesn't look happy. He turns over his cards. Black 8s.
You got it.
Oh my god. This guy has 0 diamonds, was trying to run around on the flop, and dead on the turn, and barreled off his entire stack. I'm still under shell shock after this hand, and absent-mindedly stacked up the huge pile of chips being pushed my way. The maniacal MC is gone, and so has my will to keep battling. I tell myself that unless something big happens, I'm leaving in 2 orbits. On my last small blind, there's a cutoff open and a button call before I look down at Jack 9 suited. I squeeze the 85, purely going off muscle memories of the maniac I once was. Big blind, who's also somewhat maniacal and who only has 160 in his stack, goes all in. Folds to me, and after processing what has happened, I said,
Fuck, I priced myself in.
and call.
Nice hand. I'm behind.
Flop king 63 1 heart, not much help. Turn was the offsuit deuce. Now I know this is a tiny pot compared to what just happened, but I still need to bank this one. Please dealer, 1 time. River, bank a 9. We make top pair, and I hear.
King's a 6.
We still lose to opponent's kings, and he's gonna scoop this one. Maybe it's really about time for me to go. Without me even realizing, the orbit has almost reached its end asked for a +2 second to act with king queen off. I risked the 20 and got the maniac to my left, button, and big blind to all call. We flopped top pair as I came queen 6-4 with a flush draw. Checks to me, and holding a diamond blocking a lot of draws, I decide to check multi-way, again playing it tricky. The maniac and button both check. Turn is offsuit 10. Checks me again, and bet out 35, targeting any not believing pairs or draws. The maniac calls, and so did the big blind. Alright, let's be careful now. River was the 3 of diamonds, bringing the flush. If big blind donks, I have a pretty trivial fold. Checks me, and there's no point betting here, my hand functions a lot better as a bluff catcher. Indeed, after I check, the maniac bets out around half pot to 100. Big blind snap folds, and it's on me. I've seen this guy bluff several times on the table with random air, and I have a pretty good blocker. I quickly call.
Donation.
The opponent isn't happy as he tables king jack of clubs for a missed open-ended. We scoop one last big pot for the session. After folding the final hand at +1, we rack up our chips and proceed to cash out. After only 2.5 hours, I get satisfying revenge as I'm up 1676 on the day. Finally, I feel like things are looking out for me. Can I keep this up during the final month of my poker journey? We'll find out next time at Win Las Vegas for a very fun and special episode.
And that's it for this one. I'll see you next time in Vegas.